The council chamber on Station Kalar 7 was filled with fear. Representatives from 12 different alien species sat around the circular table, their faces showing the same emotion despite their different forms. The holographic display in the center showed another dead world. The fourth one this month. Counselor Thena of the Vallani people touched her long fingers to her temples. She could feel the terror radiating from everyone in the room. Her species could sense emotions, and right now, the chamber felt like a storm of panic. "Tarsus 9 is gone," she said quietly. 3 billion souls, all consumed. The Orthani delegate made a clicking sound with his mandibles. His large eyes reflected the red glow of the ruined planet on the screen. "The Cathresh swarm moves faster than we calculated. Our defense fleets cannot stop them." A Bryn warrior named Keltar slammed his scaled fist on the table. "Because your fleets run away. The Bryn have lost half our soldiers trying to hold the line while you retreat." "Your bravery is admirable," said the Qualari representative through her water-filled translation sphere. "But bravery alone does not win wars. The Cathresh outnumber us 1,000 to 1. Thena raised her hand for silence. "We sent out the distress call 3 weeks ago, broadcast to every known species in the galaxy. We asked for allies, for help, for anyone who could spare ships or supplies." "And?" Keltar demanded. "We received one response." The room went silent. Thena's fingers trembled as she pulled up the data file. "A species that calls themselves humans, from a planet called Earth. They said help was coming." "Where are they?" the Orthani asked. Before Thena could answer, alarms began screaming throughout the station. Red lights flashed. An automated voice announced, "Warning! Massive hyperspace signatures detected. Unknown fleet entering system." Every delegate jumped to their feet. The main screen changed to show the exterior sensor feed. What they saw made their blood run cold. Ships, dozens of them. Massive warships dropping out of hyperspace in perfect formation. These were not merchant vessels or exploratory craft. These were weapons, pure instruments of war. "Count them," Keltar whispered. The station's AI responded, 47 vessels detected. Classification, unknown. Power signatures exceed standard military parameters by 300%. Weapon systems, active. Shields, active. They are in combat-ready formation." Thena's telepathic senses were overwhelmed by the wave of terror that swept through the chamber. "They sent a war fleet," she said. "We asked for allies. They sent an invasion force." The largest ship at the center of the formation was unlike anything in the Council's databases. It bristled with weapon ports. Its armor was thick and scarred, as if it had seen countless battles. The hull bore strange symbols and a name in alien script, Indomitable. "Incoming transmission," the AI announced. A human face appeared on the screen. He had dark hair cut very short, a strong jaw, and eyes that looked like they had seen terrible things. Scars marked his face. This was not a diplomat. "This is Captain Tay Ryun of the Earth vessel Indomitable, commanding the 3rd Expeditionary Fleet. We received your distress call. We have arrived to address the threat, transmitting our credentials now." Thena opened the data packet with shaking hands. What she read made no sense. "This says you are a military fleet. We asked for aid, for supplies, for—" "You asked for help against an existential threat," Tay interrupted. His voice was flat and hard. "We brought what you need. Ships, weapons, soldiers. We are here to fight." "But we have not finished diplomatic negotiations," the Orthani protested. "We have not approved military action. We have not even established formal relations with your species." Tay's expression did not change. "We do not need your approval to defend this sector. The Cathresh are a threat to all organic life. We will eliminate them. You can assist or stay out of our way." Keltar stared at the human captain with something like respect. "You speak like a warrior," I am a warrior, Tay said simply. Every human on these ships is. We came to fight. Nothing more. The transmission ended. For a long moment, nobody spoke. Then the sensors officer called out, "The human fleet is deploying combat drones. They are launching reconnaissance craft toward Kathresh territory. They are setting up what looks like a forward base on Moon Gamma 5. They have been here for less than an hour," Thena cried. "They cannot just—" "They are conducting weapons tests," the officer interrupted. "Energy readings are off the scale. The seismic sensors on 3 nearby planets are registering the impacts." The council chamber erupted in shouting. Some wanted to order the humans to leave. Others wanted to thank them. Keltar simply laughed. "You wanted allies," he said over the noise. "You got predators instead." A smaller human ship approached the station. This one transmitted a different signal. "Station Kalar 7. This is Diplomatic Shuttle Aurora requesting permission to dock. I am Ambassador Hana Kim. I apologize for our fleet's aggressive posture. I am here to explain." Thena gave permission, hoping this ambassador could make sense of what was happening. Hana Kim was smaller than Captain Tay, with kind eyes and a gentle smile. But when she entered the council chamber, Thena could sense something underneath that gentleness. Something that reminded her of the captain. Something dangerous. "Honored council members," Hana said, bowing respectfully. "I understand our arrival has caused concern. Please let me explain Earth's position. Your fleet is preparing for war without our authorization," the Orthani snapped. "Yes," Hana said simply, "because that is what we do. When Earth identifies a threat, we respond with overwhelming force. It is our nature." "Your nature?" Thena asked carefully. Hana pulled up a holographic display of Earth. "My people evolved on what you would classify as an extreme hazard world. Everything on our planet tried to kill us for millions of years. We learned to fight back. We became very, very good at fighting. When you sent your call for allies, we heard a species in danger, and we responded the only way we know how." "With violence," the Qualari said. "With strength," Hana corrected. "The Kathresh cannot be reasoned with. They cannot be negotiated with. They can only be stopped. And we know how to stop things." Keltar leaned forward. "How many wars has your species fought?" Hana was quiet for a moment. "We have been at war for our entire history, with our world, with each other, with anything that threatened our survival. We have fought thousands of wars, and we are still here." The council members looked at each other with growing horror. "You came here to save us," Thena said slowly, "or to fight?" Hana's smile was sad. "We came here because both of those things are the same to us. The Kathresh are a disease that will spread across the galaxy if not stopped. We will stop them. If that saves you in the process, we are glad. But make no mistake, we are here to wage war, and we will win. Because on Earth, losing means extinction, and we refuse to go extinct." Outside the station, the human fleet continued its preparations. Weapons charged, drones scouted, Marines prepared for deployment. The Council had asked for allies. What they received were Deathworlders, and the Deathworlders had come for war. The first full day after the humans arrived felt like chaos to the Council. Captain Tay's fleet moved with terrifying speed. They did not wait for permissions or approvals. They simply acted. Thena watched from the station's observation deck as human ships deployed hundreds of drones into the neutral zone. The Council had debated sending scouts into that area for 2 weeks. The humans did it in 2 hours. "This is unacceptable," the Orthani counselor said beside her. "They operate in our space without following our protocols. They refuse to attend proper briefings. They ignore our chain of command." Thena could sense his frustration, but she could also sense something else. Fear. The Orthani were scientists and builders. They created consensus through careful discussion. The humans did not discuss. They decided and moved. A young Orthani researcher named Veln approached them. His eyes were wide with shock. "Counselor, I have been reviewing the data packet Earth submitted with their arrival. I found something disturbing." "More disturbing than their fleet?" the counselor asked. Veln pulled up a holographic display. "Earth is classified as a Class 12 extreme hazard world. Do you understand what that means? Class 12 is the highest rating. It means the planet should be uninhabitable." Thena stared at the data. "There must be an error." "No error," Veln insisted. "Look at these numbers. Gravity is 40% higher than galactic standard. The atmospheric pressure would crush most species. The oxygen content is toxic to 70% of known life forms. And the surface..." He pulled up images of Earth. Thena saw massive storms that could swallow entire cities. She saw earthquakes that split the ground open. She saw predatory animals the size of vehicles hunting in packs. "Their world is trying to kill them constantly," Veln whispered. "And they thrived anyway. They did not just survive, they became the dominant species. How is that possible?" The answer came from behind them. "Adaptation." They turned to see Ambassador Hana standing there with another human. This one wore a military uniform with many badges. He was younger than Captain Tay, with sharp eyes that seemed to calculate everything he saw. "This is Lieutenant Jiho Park," Hana said. "He is our tactical officer. He has been analyzing the Keythresh for the Council." Jiho bowed slightly, then pulled up his own holographic display. "The Keythresh operate on pheromone-based hive intelligence. They have no individual thought, only collective purpose. Their expansion follows a mathematical pattern." He showed them charts and graphs. The Orthani counselor studied them carefully. "These calculations are remarkable. We spent months trying to predict their movements. You did this in one day?" 6 hours, Jiho corrected. "Pattern recognition is a survival skill on Earth. We learn to spot threats quickly or we die. The Keythresh are just another threat. Here is what I learned. They cannot be stopped by traditional warfare. They adapt too quickly. They reproduce too fast. They have no fear of death." "Then how do we fight them?" Thena asked. Jiho's expression was cold. "We do not fight them. We eradicate them completely. We destroy their hive structures, burn their breeding grounds, and eliminate any possibility of survival. It is the only way." The council members looked horrified. The Orthani counselor stepped back. "That is genocide." "That is survival," Jiho said without emotion. "The Keythresh will not stop. They will not negotiate. They will consume every organic world in this galaxy if given time. We remove them before they can do that." "But surely there must be another way," Thena protested. "A peaceful solution." "There is no peace with a force of nature," Hana said gently. "Would you negotiate with a tsunami? Would you make peace with a forest fire? The Keythresh are the same. They are a natural disaster in biological form. We have extensive experience with natural disasters." Before anyone could respond, Captain Tay's voice came over the station's communications system. "All Council military commanders report to Briefing Room 7 immediately. We are sharing our tactical assessment." Thena and the others rushed to the briefing room. What they found there shocked them even more. The room was filled with holographic displays showing Keythresh positions, fleet movements, and planetary defenses. Captain Tay stood at the center with Admiral Mina Choi, the commander of the entire human fleet. Mina was older than Tay, with gray hair and eyes that seemed to see through people. "Sit," Mina said. It was not a request. The council commanders sat. Keltar, the Bryn warrior, sat beside Thena, his scales gleaming in the blue light of the holograms. Mina began without introduction. "Your defensive strategy is failing because you fight to preserve. You try to minimize casualties. You attempt to save infrastructure. These are admirable goals. They are also suicidal against the Keythresh. She pulled up footage of a council fleet engaging Kthresh ships. Watch. Your ships use precision energy weapons. You target specific systems. You try to disable rather than destroy. Why? To preserve life where possible, Keltar said. It is the honorable way. It is the slow way, Mina corrected. While you disable one ship, 10 more arrive. Your honor gets people killed. Watch what we do. The display changed to show human ships engaging Kthresh forces. The difference was immediate and brutal. Human weapons did not disable. They obliterated. Ships exploded into fragments. Hive stations were reduced to expanding clouds of debris. We use kinetic weapons, Tay explained. Simple mass moving at extreme speeds. We use plasma that burns at temperatures hot enough to vaporize metal. We use nuclear devices when necessary. We do not fight to win battles. We fight to eliminate threats permanently. The Quillari representative made a sound of distress. Those weapons are banned under council law. They cause too much collateral damage. Council law does not apply to us, Mina said flatly. We are not members of your council. We came here to stop the Kthresh. We will use whatever weapons are necessary to do that. Jiho stepped forward. The Kthresh hive ship will arrive in this sector within 3 weeks. Our intelligence shows it is the size of a small moon and carries billions of eggs. If it seeds this region, the entire sector falls within months. We need to destroy it before that happens. How? Keltar asked. He was leaning forward now, interested despite himself. We hit it with everything we have, Tay said. Full fleet engagement. No holding back. No preserving resources for later. We burn it out of space. Thena felt sick. You are talking about the complete destruction of a living organism on a planetary scale. Yes, Mina said. That is exactly what I am talking about. And we will do it with or without your support. But we would prefer to work together. Your ships have capabilities ours lack. Your technology could be useful. But make no mistake, this battle will be fought on our terms. The council commanders looked at each other. Finally, Keltar spoke. What do you need from us? Over the next hours, the humans outlined their strategy. It was aggressive, violent, and left no room for mercy. It was also the first plan that actually had a chance of working. As the meeting ended, Thena approached Hana. Your people frighten me, she admitted. You think like predators. You plan like killers. How can we trust you? Hana was quiet for a moment. You cannot, she finally said. Not completely. We are dangerous. We know that. But we are dangerous to your enemies, not to you. On Earth, we have a saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. The Kthresh are your enemy. That makes us friends. At least for now. And when the Kthresh are gone? Hana smiled sadly. Then we go home to our dangerous world and leave you in peace. We do not want to conquer you. We want to survive. And right now, your survival helps ours. That is enough. Thena watched the ambassador leave. Outside the station, human ships continued their relentless preparations. They drilled constantly. They tested weapons that made space itself shudder. They moved like a machine built for one purpose: war. The council had asked for allies. What they received were monsters who fought other monsters. Thena could only hope that when the battle was over, the right monsters would win. The alarms started screaming at Aero 400 station time. Thena jerked awake in her quarters, her telepathic senses immediately flooded with panic from across the station. Kthresh swarm detected at Tarsus 9. Colony under attack. All available ships respond. She ran to the command center, still wearing her sleeping robes. The main display showed the horror unfolding 2 systems away. Tarsus 9 was a peaceful agricultural world with 40 million inhabitants. Now it was covered in Kthresh landing craft, like a disease spreading across healthy skin. Council fleet is responding, the tactical officer reported. 12 ships. They will arrive in 20 minutes. The humans? Thena asked. Captain Tay's battle group is already moving. They did not wait for orders. On the screen, Thena watched the human ships accelerate toward Tarsus 9. They moved in a formation the Council computers could not recognize. It looked almost like how Earth's ocean predators hunted in packs. The Council fleet arrived first. Thena watched her people try to fight back. Their energy weapons carved through Kthresh ships with precision. They disabled propulsion systems. They targeted weapons arrays. They fought with honor and skill. They were losing. For every Kthresh ship the Council destroyed, 3 more appeared. The swarm was too large, too aggressive, too relentless. The Council ships began to retreat, trying to form a defensive line around Tarsus 9. Then the humans arrived. Captain Tay's voice cut through the emergency channel. All Council ships, pull back 2,000 kilometers. Clear the engagement zone, now. We cannot abandon the colony, the Council fleet commander protested. You are not abandoning it. You are getting out of our way. Move, now. The Council ships retreated, confused and angry. The Kthresh swarm, seeing the retreat, surged forward toward the planet. They thought they had won. They were wrong. The human fleet opened fire. Thena had never seen weapons like this. The Council used clean energy beams. The humans used violence. Kinetic rounds screamed through space at impossible speeds, punching through Kthresh ships like they were paper. Plasma weapons turned entire clusters of enemies into expanding balls of superheated gas. And then the humans used something that made Thena's blood run cold: nuclear weapons. Brilliant flashes of light erupted across the battlefield. Each explosion vaporized dozens of Kthresh ships. The radiation would make that area of space hazardous for years. The Council would never use such weapons. The humans did not hesitate. Targets eliminated, Lieutenant Jiho's calm voice reported. Advancing to planetary orbit. Deploying ground forces. Thena switched the display to show Tarsus 9's surface. Kthresh had landed in the thousands, overrunning 3 cities. The insect creatures moved in massive swarms, consuming everything in their path. Human dropships screamed down through the atmosphere. The doors opened and humans in powered armor stomped onto the battlefield. Thena had thought the Kthresh were large and frightening. The human soldiers made them look small. Sergeant Nari Huang led the first platoon out of the landing craft. She stood over 2 meters tall in her armor, carrying a weapon that looked like it could destroy a building. Her squad formed up around her with military precision. The Kthresh charged them. Thousands of chittering, swarming insects, each the size of a large dog, with razor-sharp claws and mandibles that could crush steel. Nari's squad opened fire. The sound was deafening even through the audio feed. Human weapons did not fire single shots. They fired streams of depleted uranium rounds that tore through Kthresh bodies like they were nothing. The creatures fell in heaps, but more kept coming. They are going to be overrun, Thena whispered. But the humans did not run. When the Kthresh got too close, the humans simply switched to close combat. Thena watched in horror and amazement as Sergeant Nari grabbed a Kthresh by its mandibles and physically threw it into its companions. Another Marine used his armored fist to crush an insect's head. One human soldier, Corporal Sung Dae according to the identification tag, had his weapon torn from his hands by a Kthresh claw. The creature stabbed him through the shoulder with its talon. Any other species would have fallen. Sung Dae ripped the talon out of his own shoulder, broke it off, and used it as a knife to stab 3 more Kthresh. He was laughing. They are insane, the Orthani counselor breathed beside Thena. They are winning, Keltar corrected. The Bryn warrior watched the humans fight with something like joy in his eyes. This is what real combat looks like. Not our honorable duels, not your precise targeting. This is war. The battle raged for 6 hours. The humans pushed forward meter by meter, clearing each city block with brutal efficiency. When they ran low on ammunition, they used explosives. When they ran out of explosives, they used their armor as weapons. When their armor failed, they used their hands. The council had soldiers, but they had never seen anything like this. Humans fought like the universe owed them something and they intended to collect. By hour 7, the Kthresh on the surface were in full retreat. The humans pursued them, showing no mercy. They burned the nests. They collapsed the tunnels. They made sure nothing survived. Captain Tay's voice came over the comm. Surface secured. Colony saved. Casualties, 3 cities destroyed, estimated 12 million civilian deaths, infrastructure damage at 70%. The Council Fleet Commander responded, 12 million dead and you call this victory? Yes, Tay said without emotion, because the other 28 million survived. Without our intervention, all 40 million would be dead. That is victory. Thena felt sick. She knew Tay was right, but the cost was terrible. The planet's surface was burning. Its forests were gone. Radiation markers showed dangerous levels across half a continent. The planet is ruined, she said. The planet is alive, Hana's voice said gently. Ambassador Hana had arrived in the command center without Thena noticing. Ruined can be rebuilt. Dead cannot. We saved what could be saved. I know it seems brutal. I know it seems excessive, but this is how humans fight. We commit completely. We do not hold back, because holding back means losing, and losing means extinction. Keltar approached them. The Bryn warrior looked different now, more thoughtful. I wish to speak with your soldiers, he said to Hana. I wish to understand how they fight with such intensity. Hana nodded. I will arrange it. But I warn you, understanding humans means understanding what we come from. Earth is not like your worlds. Later that day, Keltar went down to Tarsus 9 to meet with the human Marines. Thena watched through the comm link as Corporal Sung Dae, his shoulder bandaged but already back on duty, showed the Bryn warrior how humans trained. We learned to fight from childhood, Sung explained, doing one-armed push-ups while his wounded shoulder healed. Sports, martial arts, competition. Everything on Earth is competition. We compete for food, for mates, for status. Fighting is in our blood. But why do you laugh? Keltar asked. I saw you laugh when you were stabbed. Sung thought about this. Because I was still alive. On Earth we have a saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Pain means you are still alive, and if you are alive, you can still fight. Keltar watched as other humans trained around them. They pushed themselves to exhaustion, then pushed further. They practiced hand-to-hand combat with a ferocity that looked like real fighting. They treated training like war. How did you not destroy yourselves? Keltar finally asked. Sung laughed again. We almost did. Many times. Wars that killed millions. Weapons that could sterilize continents. We came close to extinction more than once. That is why we are good at this. We have been fighting death our entire existence. We learned every trick, every tactic, every weapon. Because on Earth, second place means death. Back on the station, Thena met with the other council members. They were shaken by what they had witnessed. The humans saved Tarsus 9, the Quolari representative said. But at what cost? They used weapons we banned centuries ago. They caused destruction on a scale we cannot accept. They won, Keltar said simply. For the first time since the Kthresh appeared, we actually won a battle. Not a retreat. Not a holding action. A victory. The humans drove them off completely. By becoming monsters themselves, the Orthani countered. Admiral Mina had been standing quietly in the corner. Now she stepped forward. You are right. We are monsters. Earth made us this way. Our world is filled with predators, disasters, diseases. Everything tried to kill us. So we became better killers. We are not proud of it. But we accept it. Because in a universe that wants to kill you, the only choice is to be more dangerous than everything trying to end you. She pulled up a holographic display of Earth. Let me tell you about our planet. We have storms that level cities. We have earthquakes that split the ground open. We have volcanoes that block out the sun for years. We have animals that hunt in packs, that use tools, that plan ambushes. And we beat all of them. We survived ice ages. We survived plagues. We survived ourselves. You asked for allies. What you got were survivors. And survivors do whatever it takes to keep surviving. The council chamber was silent. Finally, Thena spoke. Then show us. Show us how to survive. Because without you, we will not. The council chamber felt different now. 2 weeks had passed since Tarsus 9. The council members still feared the humans, but fear had transformed into something else. Not trust exactly, but understanding, or the beginning of it. Ambassador Hana stood before them with a proposal that would change everything. The Kthresh Queen Mind will arrive in 11 days, she said calmly. Our intelligence shows it is larger than any ship we have fought before. The Council fleet alone cannot stop it. Our fleet alone cannot stop it. But together, we have a chance. You want us to fight alongside you? Thena said. It was not a question. I want you to learn from us, Hana corrected. You have technologies we do not. Your telepathic communication could coordinate our ships better than any computer. Your engineers build things we cannot imagine. Your warriors have honor and discipline, but you fight like prey. We need to teach you to fight like predators. The Orthani counselor shifted uncomfortably. You want to turn us into humans? No, Admiral Mina said, entering the chamber behind Hana. We want you to learn from us without becoming us. You can be civilized and still be dangerous. Earth has diplomats and artists and scientists. We also have soldiers. You need both. Over the next week, something unprecedented happened. Humans and aliens began to train together. Keltar was the first to volunteer. The Bryn warrior joined Sergeant Nari's Marine unit for combat drills. On the first day, he was knocked down 17 times. On the second day, 11. By the 5th day, he was holding his own. You fight with emotion, Nari observed, watching him spar with Corporal Sung. You let anger guide you. That can work, but it is also a weakness. Bryn warriors use our rage to fuel our strength, Keltar protested, breathing hard. And that is why you lose, Sung said, helping him up. Rage makes you predictable. Watch, Sung demonstrated, deliberately making himself angry. Then attacking. His movements became wild, powerful, but obvious. Keltar could see the openings. Now watch this. Sung attacked again, but this time with cold precision. His strikes were calculated, efficient. Keltar found himself on his back in seconds. Control, Nari explained. We use emotion as fuel, but discipline as direction. Rage without control is just wasted energy. Keltar absorbed this lesson. He began teaching other Bryn warriors. Slowly, they learned to combine their natural strength with human tactics. Meanwhile, the Orthani scientists worked with Lieutenant Jiho on weapon systems. At first, they refused to design anything as destructive as human weapons, but Jiho showed them something that changed their minds. Look at this, he said, pulling up Kthresh biological data. They reproduce every 6 hours. Each queen can lay 5,000 eggs per cycle. Do the mathematics. The Orthani scientist named Veln calculated quickly. His face went pale. In 6 months, a single queen could produce... No, that cannot be right. It is right, Jiho confirmed. That is why precision weapons do not work. You cannot kill them fast enough with your current technology. You need weapons that eliminate large numbers simultaneously. Veln was quiet for a long time. Finally, he said, What if we could create a weapon that was efficient but not cruel? Something that killed quickly without causing suffering? Death is death, Jiho said. But I understand what you mean. Efficient killing is actually more merciful than slow destruction. Show me your designs. Together they created hybrid weapons, Orthani precision combined with human power. The results were remarkable. Weapons that could disable Kthresh neural systems instantly, causing immediate death without prolonged suffering. The weapons were still deadly, but they reflected both species' values. The Volani telepaths discovered something equally important. Thena worked with Captain Tay's bridge crew, using her abilities to link the minds of the tactical team. The result was coordination no computer could match. Decisions that took minutes through normal channels now took seconds. "This is incredible," Tay admitted. He had learned to trust Thena's abilities after initial skepticism. "With you coordinating our fleet, we can react faster than the Kthresh can adapt." "But I can only link a small group," Thena said. "Maybe 20 minds at most." "Then we train 20 of your people to each link 20 crews," Tay said immediately. "Force multiplication. It is what humans do best." The Quolari engineers proved invaluable in another way. They redesigned the human fleet's logistics systems, making supply chains 3 times more efficient. Admiral Mina was impressed, despite herself. "You make us faster without changing our ships," she said to the Quolari representative. "That is genius." "We are not warriors," the Quolari explained, "but we can help warriors fight better. That is our contribution." But perhaps the most important change happened in small, personal moments. Corporal Sung invited Keltar to share a meal in the human mess hall. The Bryn warrior was shocked by what he saw humans eating. "This paste," Keltar said, examining his food suspiciously. "It burns my mouth." "That is hot sauce," Sung laughed. "We add capsaicin to our food. It is a chemical that causes pain. We eat it for fun." "Why would you eat pain?" Sung thought about this. "Because it makes us feel alive. Because we can. Earth taught us to find pleasure in things that should hurt us. It made us stronger." Keltar tried another bite. His eyes watered, but he nodded. "I understand. You turn pain into pleasure, weakness into strength. Everything on your world is a challenge." "Everything everywhere is a challenge," Sung corrected. "We just learned that earlier than most species." These conversations happened across the fleet. Humans and aliens shared stories, compared cultures, found common ground. The humans learned that the council races were not weak. They were optimized for different things. The aliens learned that humans were not monsters. They were survivors shaped by a brutal world. One night, Thena found Ambassador Hana on the observation deck, looking at Earth's distant sun. "Do you miss your home?" Thena asked. "Every day," Hana admitted. "But we go where we are needed. That is also part of being human. We protect others because we know what it is like to need protection." "I thought humans were all warriors." Hana smiled. "Some of us are. But I am a diplomat. I prefer words to weapons, though I know how to use both if necessary." "Can I ask you something?" Thena said carefully. "When this is over, when the Kthresh are defeated, what will your people do?" Hana was quiet for a moment. "We will go home. Back to our dangerous world. We do not want to rule the galaxy, Thena. We just want to survive in it. And we want others to survive too. That is why we came." "But you are so powerful," Thena said. "You could take whatever you wanted." "We could," Hana agreed. "But that is not survival. That is conquest. And conquest only creates new enemies. We have enough enemies already. What we need are allies, real allies, not servants, not subjects. Partners who can stand beside us when the next threat comes. Because there is always a next threat." Thena understood then. The humans were not trying to dominate the council. They were trying to uplift it, make it stronger, create a galaxy where they did not have to fight alone. "The Queen Mind arrives in 4 days," Hana said, changing the subject. Are your people ready? Thana thought about the training, the cooperation, the slow building of trust between species. We are not what we were 2 weeks ago. Whether that is enough, we will find out. In the training rooms, Bryn warriors sparred with human marines, learning efficiency and control. In the laboratories, Orthani scientists refined weapons with Jiho's guidance. In the bridge simulators, Valani telepaths practiced coordinating fleet movements. In the engineering bays, Quillari workers optimized every system. The council races were learning to fight like the humans, not becoming humans, but incorporating human lessons into their own strengths. Admiral Mina watched it all from the command center of the Indomitable. Captain Tay stood beside her. "Do you think they are ready?" Tay asked. "No," Mina said honestly. "But neither were we the first time we faced extinction. They will learn, or they will die. That is how evolution works." "That seems harsh." "Life is harsh," Mina said, "but it is also beautiful. These people, they have built something we never could. A civilization based on cooperation instead of competition. Peace instead of war. It is worth saving, so we will save it, and then we will teach them how to save themselves." The countdown to the Queen Mind's arrival continued. 4 days, then 3, then 2. The combined fleet prepared. Human ships and council vessels working together for the first time. Predators and prey becoming something new, becoming survivors. The sensors detected it first. A massive distortion in space, larger than anything the council had ever recorded. The Koresh Queen Mind was arriving. "Size estimate," Admiral Mina demanded from the bridge of the Indomitable. Lieutenant Jiho checked his readings 3 times before answering. "The Queen Mind is approximately 800 kilometers in diameter. It is not a ship. It is a moon, a living moon." The main screen showed the horror emerging from hyperspace. The Queen Mind was a writhing mass of organic material, covered in millions of birthing chambers. Even from this distance, they could see smaller Cathresh ships being born from its surface, dropping away like seeds from a dying flower. "Estimated Cathresh count?" Captain Tay asked. "Billions," Jiho said quietly. "If even 1% of those eggs survive and spread, the sector falls within months." Thena stood on the bridge of her own ship, linked telepathically to 19 other Valani coordinators. Through them, she could feel the minds of thousands of crew members across the combined fleet. Council ships, human ships, all waiting for the order. The fleet had positioned itself carefully. 47 human warships formed the center. 200 council support vessels surrounded them. It looked like a tiny force against the massive Queen Mind. It was a tiny force, but it was enough. "All ships, this is Admiral Mina Choi." The human commander's voice rang across every channel. "Today we face extinction, not just for one species, but for all organic life in this sector. The Cathresh cannot be reasoned with. They cannot be stopped with half measures. They can only be destroyed. Completely. Today, we destroy them. For every world they have consumed, for every life they have taken, for every species that will come after us. Today, we fight together. Today, we win together. All ships, execute attack pattern Omega." The fleet moved as one. The Valani telepaths coordinated ship movements with impossible precision. Human vessels that normally took minutes to coordinate now acted in perfect unison. Council ships that had always operated independently now moved like fingers on the same hand. The Queen Mind responded by launching its swarms. Millions of Cathresh fighters poured from its surface like blood from a wound. The swarm was so large it blocked out the stars. "First wave incoming," Jiho reported calmly. "Contact in 30 seconds." The combined fleet opened fire. Human kinetic weapons tore through the swarm like a scythe through grass. The hybrid weapons designed by Orthani and human engineers proved devastatingly effective, disrupting Cathresh neural patterns and causing entire clusters to go dead in space. Quolari-optimized targeting systems meant almost no shot was wasted. But there were too many. For every 100 K-Thresh destroyed, 1,000 more appeared. "Switching to close engagement," Captain Tay ordered. "All human ships, full forward." The human dreadnoughts accelerated directly toward the Queen Mind. Council ships hung back, providing covering fire and support. It looked like suicide. It was brilliant. The Kthresh swarm condensed to protect the Queen Mind, clustering so thickly that their own ships began colliding. That was when the humans deployed their secret weapon, nuclear mines. The devices had been placed weeks ago by stealth drones. Now they detonated all at once, creating a chain reaction through the densely packed swarm. The explosions were beautiful and terrible, each one vaporizing thousands of Kthresh ships. The path to the Queen Mind was clear. "Ground assault teams, deploy!" Admiral Mina ordered. Dozens of dropships launched from the human carriers. Among them were not just human marines, but Bryn warriors who had trained with them. Keltar led a combined unit, his scaled form easily visible even in the armor. The dropships punched through the Queen Mind's outer defenses and latched onto its surface. The doors opened and the assault teams poured out. If fighting Kthresh on a planet was horrific, fighting them inside their own hive was beyond nightmare. The interior of the Queen Mind was a maze of organic tunnels, each one filled with defenders, but the combined teams pushed forward. Sergeant Nari led her squad through a chamber filled with eggs. Each egg pulsed with life, ready to hatch. Her orders were clear. Burn it all. Corporal Sung moved beside Keltar, the two of them fighting back-to-back as Kthresh warriors swarmed them. Sung's weapon clicked empty. He dropped it and drew a combat knife. Keltar roared his battle cry and smashed two Kthresh with his bare hands. "Your people are insane!" Keltar shouted over the chaos. "You are here too!" Sung laughed, stabbing another Kthresh. "What does that make you?" "Insane also," Keltar admitted, and they both laughed despite the horror around them. The teams fought for hours, pushing deeper into the Queen Mind. They lost soldiers. Bryn and human bodies fell together, defending each other to the last breath. But they kept moving forward. Finally, they reached the center. The Queen itself was massive, easily 50 meters long, pulsing with bioluminescent life. It was surrounded by thousands of Defender Koresh, the elite warriors of the hive. "This is it," Nari said into her comm. "Central chamber reached. Beginning final protocol." The assault teams placed their charges, nuclear devices powerful enough to crack a moon. The timer was set, 30 minutes. "All teams, extraction now," Admiral Mina ordered from orbit. The fighting retreat was even worse than the advance. Kthresh poured from every tunnel, desperate to protect their queen. The teams fought meter by meter back to their dropships. Keltar's squad was cut off. 6 Bryn warriors and 4 human marines, surrounded by hundreds of Kthresh. "We are not going to make it," one of the Bryn said. "Yes, we are," Corporal Sung said firmly. He pulled a device from his belt. "Everyone get behind me, now!" The team clustered together. Sung activated the device, a portable shield generator, Orthani technology adapted for human military use. The shield snapped into existence just as the Kthresh charged. They held that position for 12 minutes. The shield flickered under constant assault. Sung's arm was broken. Keltar had lost a leg, but they held. The extraction ship arrived with 2 minutes to spare, piloted by a Quolari volunteer who flew through impossible fire to reach them. The team dragged themselves aboard. "All teams extracted," the extraction coordinator reported. "Detonation in 30 seconds." The fleet pulled back. Every ship, human and council, withdrew to minimum safe distance. On the surface of the Queen Mind, the nuclear charges reached 0. The explosion was visible from 3 systems away. The Queen Mind did not just die, it ceased to exist. The nuclear reaction spread through its organic structure, turning billions of tons of living tissue into expanding plasma. The heat was so intense it created a temporary star. The Kthresh swarm, cut off from their central intelligence, went chaotic. They turned on each other. They flew randomly into space. They lost all coordination. The fleet did not let a single one escape. For 16 hours, the combined force hunted down every remaining Kthresh ship. Human aggression and Council precision worked together. By the time the sector was clear, not one Kthresh remained alive. The victory was complete. The threat was eliminated. The sector was saved. 3 days later, the signing ceremony took place aboard the Indomitable. Representatives from all Council species gathered with human leadership. The document they signed was called the Deathworld Compact. Ambassador Hana read the key provisions. Article 1. Earth will maintain a defensive fleet in Council space for mutual protection. Article 2. Council races will establish cultural exchange with Earth. Article 3. Combined military training will be standard for all member species. Article 4. Humans will serve as threat assessment consultants, teaching defensive strategy based on Earth experience. But the most important part was Article 5, written by Athena herself. All member species acknowledge that strength without wisdom leads to tyranny, and wisdom without strength leads to extinction. We choose both. We choose to learn from each other. We choose to survive together. After the signing, Athena found herself on the observation deck with Ambassador Hana one last time. "Your fleet is leaving," Athena observed, watching human ships prepare for departure. "Most of it," Hana confirmed. "Admiral Mina is taking the main force back to Earth, but Captain Tay and 10 ships will remain. Someone needs to train your people properly." "And you?" Hana smiled. "I am staying too. Someone needs to make sure the Council and Captain Tay do not kill each other during negotiations." Athena laughed. It felt good to laugh. "We asked for allies," she said. "We got Deathworlders. I was terrified. And now? Now I understand. You are not monsters. You are survivors. You learned to be dangerous because you had to be, but you also learned to be kind, to help others, to stand with those who cannot stand alone. That is what makes you human, not the violence, the choice to use that violence to protect instead of destroy." Somewhere in the distance, a human ship fired its engines, beginning the long journey back to Earth. On board were wounded soldiers, both human and alien, recovering together. In the medical bay, Corporal Sung was teaching Keltar how to use human prosthetics. They were arguing about who had fought better, each insisting the other was braver. In the training rooms, Bryn warriors practiced with human marines. In the laboratories, Orthani scientists worked with Jiho on new defense systems. In the command centers, Volani telepaths coordinated with human tacticians. The galaxy was learning, not just how to fight, but how to survive. Together. Admiral Mina stood on the bridge of the Indomitable, preparing to jump to hyperspace. Captain Tay appeared on her comm screen. "Are you sure you want to stay?" Mina asked him. "Someone has to teach them," Tay said. "Besides, I like them. They are learning. Just remember, we are not conquerors. We are protectors." "I know," Tay said. "That is why I am staying, to protect them until they can protect themselves." The Indomitable jumped to hyperspace, along with most of the human fleet. But 10 ships remained, and the soldiers and diplomats and scientists who stayed behind were enough. Because the galaxy had learned an important lesson. Peace is worth fighting for, and sometimes you need monsters on your side to keep the darkness at bay. But the best monsters are the ones who choose to be heroes instead. The Council had sought allies. What they found were Deathworlders, and those Deathworlders taught them the most important lesson of all: survive together or die alone. They chose survival. They chose together, and the galaxy was better for it.